Welcome to the Valley Today, a public service presentation of KAIL TV. Around 1900, the term comics and comic strips came into being. Strips of pictures in magazines and newspapers were all funny or comic. Early American comic books were collections or reprints of newspaper comic strips. Today, everyone is familiar with comic books. Join us as we visit with Dave Allreed of Heroes Comics and learn about comic books in the present. It's up next on the Valley Today. Well, welcome to the Valley Today. We are with Dave Allreed here at Heroes Comics and Cards, or just comics. Is it just
Heroes
comics?
Comics.
Where's your cape?
Shh, don't tell anybody.
No, you're supposed to have a cape.
Nobody's supposed to know.
Yeah?
That's my secret identity.
Now, how long have you been in the comic book business?
Coming up on 24 years.
Yeah. So were you a complete foamer when you were a kid? I mean, you were just completely crazy about comics.
Completely. Spent every cent I got, took in soda bottles and traded them for comics.
Really?
If you remember that.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
remember
yeah. Yeah. The soda bottles, you could get 5 cents. And eventually you could get 10 cents.
Yeah. I wanted my parents to drink lots of soda.
Yeah. So you could come. Were you born and raised in this area?
Yes.
Okay. So what was the comic book store when you were a kid? Where were you going to?
Mostly there was a 7-Eleven near my house, but as I got older, there was a comic store in downtown Clovis called Ed Zapita's Comic Den that I could travel on my bike or the bus and head down
In Clovis?
In downtown Clovis.
Downtown Clovis,
Yes.
comic book store.
Yeah.
And that's when Clovis was just, I mean, 500 people.
Yeah.
Well, more than that, but it was really a small little town.
Yes.
And so what were some of your favorite comics that you collected?
Well, the Avengers were Captain America and the Avengers were my favorite, and that's all. From when I opened the store, that's all I have left. When I opened the store, I took everything I had and basically opened on a shoestring. And
Did you sell those? Oh, you were able to keep them?
Kept those, and everything else gone.
Yeah, so that you could get the funding together to put the store together. Yeah. And your first store was just around the corner here, wasn't it?
Yeah, when Circuit City was at Blackstone and Shaw.
Right.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, started with about 600 square feet. Very small store. Then moved into a 2,500 square foot store over here, and now 2,400 square foot store here.
This is the nicest comic book store in the Central Valley, right?
We hope so.
Yeah? I mean, have you gone around and looked at other stores?
Yeah, yeah. And
do they have a nice one in Merced?
That nice store in Merced. Small store, nice owner. Good guy, yeah.
And Visalia, they've got a store?
It's more of a baseball card store, I believe.
Okay.
I've never been that one, but I hear it's more of a sports with comics on the side.
And used to be cards and collectibles, but you kind of got away from the cards, and primarily the mainstream is comics. You do have some T-shirts and bags and cups and
a few toys and that kind of thing,
toys
but
and stuff
all
like that,
related to comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you buy comics too, right?
Yes.
And so what's the coolest book that's ever come through these doors?
Oh boy, that's a hard one. We had a early Wonder Woman book from the 1940s, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
How
much was that worth?
A few $1,000s.
Really? Mm-hmm. And was it in pretty good condition?
Yeah, that was what was cool. You see a lot of those old books, but back then, they didn't collect them. They just hand them to their friends and John and this and that. This looked like it had never been read.
Right.
Yeah.
And so comic books really took hold probably right before World War II and carried through World War II, and then kind of started to diminish as television was coming on the scene, right?
Correct.
You had Three Stooges on television, and you had these cartoons, and television and cartoons kind of replaced the comic book.
Yes. Back then, adults, adults, everyone read comic books. And then as that happened, the adults moved to TV, and just a lot of kids read comic books.
Right.
Now it's kind of switched back, where it's a lot of adults.
Right. And the neat thing about comics was that once you had a physical copy in your hand, you could read it, and you could read it a couple of times, and then you could pass it on to your friends. And so this thing would have pretty broad circulation among your peers, and then perhaps come back to you, maybe not.
Right. You'd never know. But another thing is, I could read that comic and read it one way, and you would read the same comic, and you would get something different than I got out of it.
Yeah. And then you guys would get together over a soda or something after school, and you'd be playing, and then you'd have these conversations about this comic that you read, and you would have entirely different takes on it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And it's the same way now. You look at TV and movies, and they have expanded so much. It doesn't leave much to your imagination.
Right.
I mean, when you go to the movie, we're going to pretty close to see the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Where in the comics, there's little things that happen and characters that you might follow that you would read it one way, and I would read. I go, oh, I didn't even see that happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm not paying attention to that part.
Right.
But it still leaves a little bit to your imagination.
Yeah.
So that's what's fun about it.
Is there a resurgence in comic books now?
Yeah.
People coming back to it?
And partly because of the TV and the movies.
Yeah.
That are. Yeah.
Well, the like Iron Man and Superman was the first one. Superman and Batman were the first movies to come out in the early 90s or late 80s.
Yeah.
And that really helped comic books come back.
Yeah. When Marvel started doing Spider-Man and X-Men, that really made a big jump.
So when movies come out now, do you see a surge in people coming through the store?
Yeah. Usually before it, we'll see people like, let's say Iron Man's coming out. We'll see people come in looking for Iron Man stuff. It's on their brain. And that's what they're looking for. Yeah.
So, how many comic books do you have in this store?
To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few. Between our bins and what you see on the shelves, there's probably a few 100,000.
Yeah. And you've been able to make a good living doing this, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Geographically, in the middle of Fresno, you are at Shaw and 41.
Yeah.
And you cannot miss this place.
Yeah, we've got a good location and good parking, and it's pretty easy to find. You talk to people and they don't see this building because it's been a bank before and it was empty for a while, but we're.
And the neat thing about being in an old bank is you got a vault.
That's right.
Do you put anything in there?
Because of what we carry, there's just fixtures. Everyone wants to think that our best books are in there.
Yeah.
But not really, because in the summer in Fresno, it's so humid in there. It's warmer in there than it is outside.
Yeah, and that's not good. That's not good for paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially the older books. The older books, they made them, like we were talking, to just pass around, throw away. They're made on newspaper print.
Yeah.
So that wasn't made to last.
Right.
Now they use better paper. I mean, and stuff that's probably going to last way past our lifetimes, our kids' lifetimes, and that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ink is better and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the most expensive comic book that is owned by someone now?
Well, there's a couple. The first appearance of Batman, which is detective, and the first Superman. They both have gone for over $2 million.
Really?
Yeah.
An original copy? Batman or Superman, what years were those printed?
1939.
$2 million?
Yeah.
So I guess occasionally there's maybe a barn find where, somebody passes away and the kids get into, they have to go through mom or dad or grandpa or grandma's collection. And
yeah, there was just one of those kind of things, I don't know, a year and a half or so ago that somebody found a few $100,000 worth.
Of comic books.
Yeah.
Oh my word! And people they pay. Obviously, they pay the price.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
$2 million for a Batman or Superman?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you think about if someone those have continuously gone up at least 10% each year.
Is that like the Declaration of Independence, where they've got it, where they've got it in a glass case that's all the air is taken out of it? You're not going to turn the pages. Right. You're just going to be able to maybe look at it and not get too close because there's probably a couple of security guards, right?
Right. Yep.
Wow.
I'm sure they're just put away.
That is amazing. That really is. No, I'm sounding like Huell Hauser. That's amazing. So how's business been here?
Business is good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're very blessed, so it's good. Yeah.
And we're coming up on another reason that we're here is because of Free Comic Book Day, which is, this brings out all the foamers.
There'll be all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'll be in
lots of fun.
costumes.
Yes, we'll have
Yeah.
people dressed. This year it's May 4th, so it May the 4th.
This
be
is
with
the day. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
That's clever. So this is May 3rd. This is Friday. Tomorrow will be Free Comic Book Day, and we're going to get some I'm going to come back tomorrow with the camera, and I'm going to get some of these people in line. What time do you think they'll start lining up?
I don't know. They're here before I get here.
Yeah.
So,
And hundreds of them, right?
yeah.
You
There'll
say
be a
they'll
few
be
hundred.
stretched all the way to Pinedale
And back.
and back.
Yeah,
And so
there'll be
you'll
quite
have to
a few.
have some extra help here
We
tomorrow.
will have extra help, yeah. And what we do is we limit how many you can get.
How many can you get?
Adults can get 1, kids can get 2.
Okay, that's nice.
But the thing is, we always have a charity. This year, the Leukemia Foundation. So for every $1 you donate to them, you can get another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it works real good for the charities. Yeah.
And these really aren't free. I mean, you've had to buy these comics to redistribute them, but you probably
Correct.
get them at a reduced rate.
Correct. The publishers and the retailers kind of split the cost.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that there's a charitable aspect to it. That's great, though.
Yeah, we like to do it that way. Just so, and in the past we've done different charities, but this year the leukemia, they're very excited to be here, so
Yeah.
it's going to be fun.
Cool. And then so you'll be giving the comic books away outside, but then anybody that wants to come inside,
Yeah.
you'll have extra help, and
Yeah.
you'll probably sell a lot of comic books tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
Now, a lot of people come in with collectibles that they want to sell to you, too?
Yes, we see that every day.
Yeah, and so you get the magnifying glass out, and are you an expert on determining the value of a comic?
Been doing it for 24 years, so
Okay,
I pretty
so you
much
got a
know.
pretty good feel
Yeah.
for what something is worth.
Worth.
And then there's different conditions depending on how well they've been used or how well
Correct.
they've been taken care of.
Correct, and that has changed a lot in the last 15 years. When the internet came around, well, now you're not limited to your area of buying. I mean, anything. So that grade means a lot because I can get a real good one maybe in New York,
Yeah.
or I can get one in Texas.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
means a lot. Yeah.
So the internet is competing with the local people that
Yeah.
are bringing in the
Yeah.
comics. Well, we'll be back with Dave Allreed here at Heroes Comics, and when we come back, we'll talk about Free Comic Book Day, and we'll talk about some other things.
Sounds good.
And this is the Valley Today. We will be right back right after this brief message. And what an exciting time, huh?
It is lots of fun.
Yeah. Who would have? Did you ever imagine that you would be running a comic book store, having been so passionate about it when you were a kid?
No, in fact, I just did it kind of out of necessity. Really, I was at a job that was kind of dead-end job, and I
Yeah.
decided, hey, I'm going to jump out and do this, and
Yeah.
I did, and hadn't been married very long, just had a baby coming on the way, and it's kind of crazy times.
So the baby's about as old as you've been in business with comic
yeah,
books,
yeah,
huh?
she's going to Fresno State.
Oh, cool. What's she majoring in? Business?
She's going to be a teacher.
Oh, good. Good for her.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the comic book conventions.
Okay.
There's big ones every year on the East and West Coast, right?
Yes.
And what's the big one on the West?
big one is San Diego. That's
Yeah.
the biggest one in the world.
That's called
It's
Comic Con?
San Diego Comic Con, or now known as Comic Con.
Yeah. And when does that happen?
End of July.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's really nice down in San Diego.
And you used to go to those
Regularly,
but you mentioned that you don't go anymore because there's just too many people.
Yeah, and the benefit for me has declined for retailers. They used to have things for retailers, meetings and different things as a business owner to benefit from.
Yeah.
And as it got bigger, the conventions saw that they could profit, so they kind of wiped that day out and made it for the public. And so I understand why, but just for me to go see what I already see,
Right.
yeah,
It's just
not
kind of it's not working for you like it used to.
And they get about 140,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they should probably move that to, like we were talking about during the break, Las Vegas Convention Center.
Yeah, they keep pushing the city of San Diego to expand the convention center. It's not big enough.
Yeah.
And so one of the things they said, they were going to move it to Las Vegas and kind of put some pressure on San Diego because it has overgrown that.
Yeah.
And for now, it's going to be in San Diego, but who knows?
Yeah. Now, when I was a kid, I read a little Mad Magazine. I got a subscription to Mad Magazine.
They still make that?
Yeah, and I thought that was a neat comic. Comic books have really changed. They're not necessarily comic books anymore. You've got novels, and you've got adult themed books also.
People think that the 18 and over thing is new, but really that's always been around. You think back into the 30s and 40s, it was more. There was a lot of adults reading. There was a lot of that kind of horror, scary. In fact, in the late 50s, the Senate had big meetings and came up with the comic code because they felt that comics were just too gory for kids.
Really?
And kids were getting a hold of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that the comic code actually came out in the 50s. And yeah, that's
kind of like,
around.
was that the McCarthy era?
Yeah, during that time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah.
So about the same time that they were trying to run the communists out of Hollywood, they were clamping down on what themes could and what graphics you could put in comic books.
And some of those people that were doing Mad Magazine later were some of the people putting out some of the scariest books. I mean, they were actually pretty scary to today's standards. They were pretty scary books.
Yeah. And you carry Mad Magazine here, right?
I sure do.
Yeah. Is that a comic that you like?
Oh yeah, I grew up on that.
Sure.
Yeah. You got to have a little bit of twisted humor to appreciate that. I understand that you would like that.
Now, yeah, I do. I like it. I like twisted humor. It's amusing. So these they're called graphic novels.
Yes, and basically what that is, comic books up until, I don't know, the late 80s, early 90s, you could read one issue, get a whole story. They came in, they fought, it was over, or whatever happened. Now they're somewhat like a soap opera.
Yeah.
So what they do is they take 5 or 6, put them into a graphic novel, and you basically got a week's worth of a soap opera. And they found they can tell that same story drawn out a little bit.
Were these bean counters that came in and said, we can make more money by doing this?
There's two things. There's that, and when the bookstores, Barnes & Noble and Borders, were huge in the early 90s, they didn't want to mess with $2 comics.
Yeah.
So the idea came up, well, how about these $15 graphic novels? That's where it came born. That's what they wanted, and so that's how it came to be.
Huh. So when you were a kid, comic books were what, a quarter?
Well,
or 50 cents?
They were a little, 12 cents. I remember 12 cents. 20 cents is about where I really jumped in heavy. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I'm a little older than you, and I think I remember seeing comic books for maybe 10 cents, 15 cents on the stands.
Yeah, and I bought 15 cents. I was buying at 15, and then 20 is when I went a little, started going crazy.
Typically, what does an average comic book go for now?
$2.99 to $3.99.
$2.99 to $3.99, and that's still a bargain.
Yeah,
you look at the inflation and all that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll hear people say, well, kids used to be able to buy 5 comics for $1, but my allowance was maybe $1, but now their allowance is $10, $20. So it is, it's just inflation. It's a sign of the times.
Do you see kids coming in today that remind you of you when you were that age?
Yeah,
and they're coming in here and they're wide-eyed and they're looking at stuff and
definitely
start to foam a little, get a little something coming off the end of the mouth.
Another funny thing is I've been doing it long enough that I see those kids bring their kids in, which is really kind of strange.
Yeah, because you've been doing it for 25 years, so you're seeing the next generation come along. And it's also changing because of technology. There's kind of a backlash with going to electronic media, right?
Well, yes. I mean, a lot of retailers are scared of all of that, but on the other hand,
because it'll be point of purchase right off the internet, won't it?
Yeah. Yes. But we don't have the feeder system that we did for the stores back in the day. They don't sell them at 7-Elevens. You don't see them at the grocery store.
Right.
I could ask kids if they saw, where do you get your comics? They don't even see them anymore. So that is a good starter place. I have tons of people that read them on their iPads or Nooks or whatever they read them on, and then come in and start collecting the comics.
I think that the technology is a wonderful thing, but I'm old world when it comes to getting my hands on a piece of paper. I like to read car magazines and things like that, so I can always go back to that magazine if I have it in the bathroom or if I have it on the kitchen table. I can always go back to that magazine, you know. And I think it's just, I think it's generational too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Now you've got, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Free Comics, and Free Comic Book Day is tomorrow. It's May the 4th. Be with you.
The first Saturday, always first Saturday in May.
It only works when it's the 4th, though.
Yeah, and what's fun is we'll have gentlemen from the official Star Wars group. They'll be out here in costume walking around.
Oh, you'll have some stormtroopers
Oh, yeah,
here?
we do every year, but this year it'll be big because it's Star Wars Day also.
Oh, okay, so perhaps we see Darth Vader tomorrow?
You just might.
Oh,
yes.
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any, has Stan Lee ever graced your doors?
No. We have a few that have come through that are comic book creators. In fact, we have a local gentleman that's here every year drawing for us. Mm-hmm. And he works his hand like crazy. And he's really good. His name's Derek Friedhoffs. He works on the Batman comics.
Yeah.
But he'll be out here tomorrow doing sketches.
And you're the only game in town for Free Comics tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, there's been other comic book stores that have just said, no, we're not going to do it because what they said was they just see these people once a year and it's when they're giving away free comics.
And we see that. And it isn't an expensive day. It's a promotion. You got to look at it as something that's going to build for the rest of the year, hopefully.
Yeah. I think it will.
Yeah, I think it does too.
I think people, you have a warm place in their heart because you've given them something for free, and it goes, that guy was cool.
Right.
I got these free comic books, and I'm going to come back and give him some business. I think a lot of people think that way.
Right. I think so too.
Yeah.
The thing, Free Comic Book Day is based off the idea where they got it. There's a gentleman in the Bay Area that has a store next to a Baskin Robbins, and Baskin Robbins used to do Free Scoop Day. Mm-hmm. That ended. They went to 31-cent Scoop Day. Mm-hmm. I think cost is what hurts, and I don't know if they're even doing that now.
Yeah.
When the cost, I think that's why some of the other guys are not doing it. The cost has gotten so much on the retailer. They're just looking, does it benefit me throughout the year? You just never know. Because little Johnny might have a birthday 6 months from now.
Right,
and they'll say,
they'll come back in, they'll buy a cup, they might buy a shirt, they'll buy a couple of comic books. What are the comics that are going to be given away tomorrow? Yeah,
there's about 25 different ones coming out tomorrow.
I see Elmo over there.
There is, the first Sesame Street comic that they've ever done came out this week. So that should be a good one.
And you've got some real mainstream stuff over there too, right?
There's two different, there's a Batman, there's a Superman. Marvel's got an upcoming story that they're promoting through Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of strawberry shortcake. There's just all over the place.
Yeah,
something for everybody.
Charles had mentioned that there's some of these shows that were, on television, so they, they cross-pollinated. Cimarron Strip, Rawhide, Rifleman. We've had Rifleman on our channel on 7.2, and you've got some of these that have transcended from comics to television, and from television to comics.
Yeah, back in the 60s, that was, if there was a TV show, they had a comic.
Yeah.
It's kind of coming back that way. In fact, one of the best-selling graphic novels and comics right now is Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and which was not a lot of people know that was a comic before it was a show.
Yeah.
And there's just all kinds of things like that. They do Buffy. When the Buffy TV series, which was popular, ended, they did a comic that picked up from the end. So people that were fans of that TV show could see future stories.
Yeah.
And it's very popular.
Yeah. Well, Dave, we're out of time. Dave Allred here at Heroes Comics at Shaw and 41. And this is a cheap way to get some entertainment. Come in and get a comic book for $2 or $3 or $4, or $2 million if you've got the money and you got the comic to sell them.